Hello, chat room, and everyone in the house. What is going on? Thanks for being here for another live hangout. I'll make sure this sounds good. All right, we got King Shadow, always here first. We got Robert West in the house. We got the members, Liquor Sandwich, Robert West, King Shadow, David R, Mr. Patriot. What's going on? Psycon, what's up? He says played Dead Rising 1, 2, and 3 recently. Love the first one. God, I hope the rumors are true. Yeah, we'll get into the Dead Rising stuff. Frank West is coming back to cover more wars, says Liquor Sandwich. Let's see, just started Evil Within game. It's hella trippy. Yeah, Evil Within has a lot of crazy visuals for sure. Fantastic. Let's see. Mr. Patriot's here. Said he's doing good. He's got a place on his own, a townhouse. Nice, man. Congrats on that. Let's see here. All right, we got everybody kind of funneling in here. And this is another hangout stream, taking your questions, discussing some stuff, and just hanging out for a little bit on here. And I'll discuss the Dead Rising stuff once we get more people in here. Alyssa, what's going on? Yes, Icon, it's been a little bit. I finished up the Resident Evil 4 professional new game professional run last week. So I've been kind of cooking up the next stuff of content for you guys and what the next live stream will be. And essentially it came down to the poll that is out there now for Patreon supporters. If you're a member, you can also vote on the poll. And I didn't even see what it was at, so let me pull it up and we'll discuss it here. Or at least let's see if I can pull it up here. It was already getting some nice interaction, which is cool because that's one of the perks you get. Is voting on the next live stream. Something that is either Resident Evil related or in this case isn't Resident Evil related specifically, but it's still survival horror. So right now, I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, I figured this would happen. I assumed this would happen. But so we got Silent Hill 2 at 54%. And that is, that's taking the lead. Second place is Cold Fear, which a lot of people were excited to see on there. Dead Space 2 and Fatal Frame. So Dead Space 2 and Fatal Frame are tied at 13%. Cold Fear has 21%. And then Silent Hill 2 has 54%. But 39 votes, so if you haven't voted yet, definitely do that. What version of Silent Hill 2 will you be playing? I recommend the Enhanced Edition for PC. I have it on PlayStation 2 physically, and then I have it on the Xbox. And so I have a couple stuff to pull from. I don't know if I'm going to be doing the PC version or not. I'm not sure. I tried to... The last time I played Silent Hill 2 on the channel, which was a few years ago for the first time, and the final boss and cutscene was like glitched. We ran into a problem. I don't know if some of you guys remember that. It's still up in the Let's Play playlist on the channel. But it's just, I don't know how to approach it. I mean, now I own it, so it's a little bit different. But I could also do the PC version as well. I know it probably looks the best, and maybe there's less glitches that could happen. We'll see, though, because I assumed Silent Hill 2 would win. And what's up, guys? We got Rambo in here. He says, yes, Cold Fear in second place. Hell yeah. Yeah, I figured I would just put that on there because a lot of people yourself and many others always kind of asked about Cold Fear, and I'm trying to obviously switch it up and bring some variety to what I live stream and stuff that I haven't played, horror, survival horror stuff that I haven't played, and that'll be cool to switch it up. David R says, "Do you think RE9 will be a game where you play as Leon, where you play as Leon playing bingo?" JK. No, that'll be in the online expansion that they'll have you wait for a year and a half, and then you get to play bingo with all the Resident Evil characters. I don't know. I have not played Signal. I have not played that. No. It's got a great narrative and lore, and it's an indie gem. Yeah, I haven't played that. I know it's been brought up a bunch actually, and it's something that I probably can consider for another rotation. I'm trying to keep similar games in the rotation. Like I kept Dead Space because Dead Space 1, was the winner of the first poll that I did. I think it wasn't the first one, but it was like one of the first ones right before or right after Tormented Souls, because Tormented Souls wasn't really a winner. I just ended up picking that by default at just to kind of dive in. So there's a couple repeating ones. That's why Silent Hill is on there. And what's up, Mitchell? We got Mitchell in here. Marvin says, I played the first few hours of Dead Island 2. Really boring and underwhelmed. I haven't played Dead Island. I never really got into those games. I've heard okay things about this one, but I'm not, I've always been more of a Left 4 Dead guy anyway when it comes to those online zombie type stuff. How likely are to considering doing something like an RE Legacy stream when Silent Hill 2 remake gets close? Silent Hill is one of those franchises that I haven't seen every single one. And that's why I've done 1, I've done 2 on the channel before, but I've never done 3. But I don't know when Silent Hill 2 remake is supposed to be coming out. I mean, it's coming out this year, at least that's what people are saying. Maybe it's next year. I guess we don't have a date, but that's something that would be cool to obviously explore the rest of the Silent Hill, franchise that haven't even unraveled yet, or if I played, it was very briefly, because I played a little bit of 3, but I haven't played all the spin-offs and everything like that, or what would be considered, a continuation and all that stuff. But I know I think it was John Lemley, he commented on the post saying, maybe considering waiting to do Silent Hill 2 until closer to the remake in terms of streaming it. And that is a good, suggestion for sure. But I also think that I could just stream different things in succession around Silent Hill, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I can do, a Silent Hill marathon. I can do, if I wanted to approach it in some kind of way, leading up to the Silent Hill 2 remake, because would I stream that on here day one? Absolutely. I mean, there's no reason why I wouldn't, to be honest. So I'll just see what wins, but it looks like Silent Hill 2 is winning right now. But it's not going to rule out, Cold Fear or Dead Space 2 or Fatal Frame entirely. I'll keep them in the next rotation, because usually when I see people respond well to the selection of games, I try to keep that in there, or if it's something that I know people wanted. If you noticed with this updated poll, I didn't put Alan Wake in there because Alan Wake, it is a good game and I haven't fully completed it, but it didn't really get much votes on the polls that it was in. So I kind of retired that. I can put that back in later, but I wanted to do, Silent Hill 1 was received very well, and I kind of want to keep that excitement of what you guys kind of want to see. And so that's why I would do Silent Hill 2 sooner rather than later, because it will be more of a, fun event type live stream, because I don't always, stream Silent Hill all the time. So, I can make it really cool. And just like Silent Hill 1, it will be different, you know, different parts and stuff like that. It won't be like all in one sitting or anything like that, but it will be, you know, just thought out of like, how I can approach it and make it cool. And yeah, I'm not going to be going in completely. Like I played Silent Hill 2. I beat it before. This will be my second time completing it on the channel and second time in general, just beating the game. But there's so much stuff that I missed or could have done or didn't do, and I witnessed that with the first Silent Hill playthrough when it was just like I was doing stuff I didn't even do the last time. So it's cool. It's like refreshing every time. Then Silent Hill 3, if I approach that and onward, then I'm really going into dark territory in terms of like I don't know what to expect. I never finished 3. I've never even played 4. I've played Homecoming but never finished it. I played Downpour but never finished it, but like very little I remember. So a lot of it would be, new. So that's like fun, that's the fun of it basically. So who knows? But if Silent Hill 2 wins, then that will be the next live stream. In terms of next live stream series, in terms of you know the what's next for a Resident Evil live stream series. Well, there's a few different options. Like I said, the Resident Evil 5 thing that I mentioned in the last live stream is not necessarily going to be. It is going to be a playthrough series. It's not going to be so much of a live stream, but it is going to be a playthrough series. But I know a lot of people still like live streams as well, and they like obviously all the live interaction stuff. So I'm going to obviously continue to run multiple live stream series, in terms of like have days where it's other stuff streamed, and then Silent Hill is also streamed as well. If that wins, let's see. We got Carlos Cruz in here. What's up? Have you heard of Puppet Combo horror games? I have not, Rambo. What's up, Dwayne Johnson? Murderous says, Anthony, thanks for doing all this. I know it's hard work, but you're here for us, and so we can all talk. Just thanks for making the sacrifice. Well, no problem. I mean, can't really do this without you guys. Like I said in the last stream, you guys keep things going, and I really appreciate it. And sorry for the delay in terms of me wanting to get the podcast episode done and out there. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of waiting and trying to get a couple people on this show. So thanks for your patience and stuff like that. I know a lot of people. I also kind of want to get that done and out of the way. Not that it's like in the way, but it's just like I want to be able to kind of like close off that RE4 chapter for now, and start to do other things as on top of that. You know what I mean? Like there could be a bunch of Resident Evil 4 videos and stuff that I like to work on that are going to be more structured and more lengthier, that come from the game. But I obviously want to get that podcast review done and out there, because I really want to bring back the podcast in a better way this year than I did last year, and in a stronger way. And I haven't really done that like I wanted to already this year. So I want to try to make the episode review, the in-depth review, very cool and fun, and but I can't really do that unless I have when you're on other schedules, you have to just make it work when it can work. But hopefully it could just happen soon. And let's see, it's not as bad as Riptide, but Dead Island 1 plays better and more fun, says Marvin. Okay. Yeah, I haven't played that either, Riptide. Purple Herb, what's up? It is Goku Day. It's May 9th. Remake of Silent Hill 2 and the 2 other games that were promised. Whatever happened to those? Well, they're still being made. I just don't know I'm assuming Silent Hill 2 will be coming out first. So I think I'll focus on that, and then, you know, I would play the other new Silent Hill titles, but I kind of want to be, maybe up to snuff at that point, like have everything already consumed so I know more about what's like going on. Not that it's continuing one specific story, because I know that they bounce around, but you get what I'm saying. I just want to be more within the culture of Silent Hill. We got Jeff M in here as well. I hope so too, Murderer. They remake Silent Hill 1 someday. We got Jin in here. ACR is in here. We got all the members in here. Purple Herb's in here too, a fellow member. Carlos is a fellow member. RE9 and Code Veronica remake. That's what a lot of people want next. I think that RE9 will be happening. We'll be talking about the next thing that could potentially be talked about, and the reboots and remakes. Let's see here. Dwayne says, I completed my first ever playthrough of RE7, and over the weekend, I enjoyed it from my point of view, and it's an interesting story. Well, that's cool to kind of hear your takeaways, Dwayne, because that is, I always like hearing how people kind of feel about RE7, especially because that's when things started to change up a little bit, and some people kind of took that transition into the first person stuff in a more like, this is kind of different, I don't really like it, or some people really liked it. And so it can go either way for people that, go into that for the first time. And Rambo says, public combo are games that are styled PS1 horror. Titles include Babysitter, Bloodbath, Power of the Drill Massacre, Murder House, Bloodwash, and others. I think I've heard of some of that stuff, and I've definitely seen, some recent, indie games that have that kind of style. And all that stuff is really cool. You know what I mean? And I think, a lot of that stuff is just, things that I don't mind bringing on LTRE to, kind of switch up the pace a little bit. And when there is, lull periods of, no Resident Evil stuff coming out, I can still do a bunch of Resident Evil content. There's mods, and there's, a bunch of stuff that I love to get into. Like I said, as I worry about, building my PC and stuff like that, which will be the next step, I'll be able to kind of take a lot of those mods and stream even more for you guys on those certain things that people kind of always wanted to see, or, first person mods, or whatever the hell it is, there's like, and then on top of like, if it's an indie horror game that I think looks cool, or, something that I really like. Again, if it's horror, survival horror, it'll be fun to kind of, dive into that. I'm not afraid to do that, which is cool because, again, like I said, the last stream, one thing that made me really confident was how, I really liked how Tormented Souls was received, but I really was stoked on how Silent Hill 1 was, received on here too, which was really fun, and I really just enjoyed that. So it kind of gave me like, just more motivation to be like, okay, when RE4 is done, like when the busyness of RE4 is done, which it kind of is now, when everything kind of slows down a little bit, let me circle back around, put Silent Hill 2 on the poll rather, and knowing that it would probably win, but it's also kind of like trending. So I feel like, talking about Silent Hill 2, streaming Silent Hill 2, will also help too, just to kind of break through a little bit more with fans that, like you guys in here that are going to watch it, and then people that might just find me through, YouTube gaming streams or something. I don't know, but we have 45 people in here and only 15 likes. So let's hit that like button, and thanks for coming in. And King Shadow says Dead Island 2 is fun with co-op. Yeah, I mean, I think the co-op stuff is what keeps that stuff fun, playing it with friends. I think a lot of those games that, really rely on that team element and you play them by yourself, you're kind of missing a really core piece of what makes that fun. So I think Dead Island 2 is something that, like, if it's really good or people really like it, that's something I can get with, like, a price drop or something like that. Let's see. Milfan says, "Hey, what's up, Anthony? Hope you're well, or hope you're having a good day. Have I ever played Fear? Yeah, I actually, I recently repurchased Fear because I had it uh, years ago, actually, and then traded it in because I never finished it. Probably got stuck somewhere. I tried to play the online, and the online was really challenging, at least for me. And that was probably back in 2007. But I recently picked it up. It's over there and on that shelf because it's not available digitally on the Xbox store for some reason. So Fear 2 is, Fear 3 is, but Fear 1 is not. So I picked up the disc and it is backwards compatible. So it is on their backwards compatible list. You can just pop it in and play, but you do need the disc. So that's just something to point out. I don't know why, but another thing that I would like to play. Do you think Capcom will do an RA showcase later this year? I think so, Jeff M. I think Capcom will either do a showcase or they'll show off something on the Sony events because they like to jump on with Sony with showing some of that stuff, like with RE4 or, Resident Evil Village was showcased like that too. So maybe if there is an RE9 or another remake or something, whatever the case may be, I think it's going to be RE9 if they do show something. Or Separate Ways trailer, who knows? But if they do, it could be at their own event. But we'll see. Rambo says there's a new one called Sniper Killer. Advertised like an 80s VHS horror film, and they found a niche. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too. I think a lot of people that get into stuff like that, they know their audience. Like, they know they're going to be into horror. They're going to be into, like, the retro stuff. So a lot of that stuff can really catch on really cool. And, you have people like myself that, stream stuff or react to stuff for the first time and play it for you guys. That kind of gives things a new life nowadays with some of these, like, indie horror. I mean, we've seen it before with how stuff kind of blows up. Robert West asks a good question about Separate Ways onto that point of whether or not I think it will be, coming out this year. Maybe early next year. I don't know. They can easily, if they do announce a trailer, I would say, maybe we'll get a release date. At least I would hope so. Hopefully it's not like the Village DLC where it's just a bunch of text on a screen saying, because this game is popular and due to popular demand, we're working on it. It's like, just show us some stuff. And then if you even want to just give us a little teaser and then give us a date, because I think they knew that they were going to be working on it anyway. So I would just hope that they're already working on it and it comes out later this year. I would like for it to come out in the fall. We had Separate Ways come out in the fall of 2005 on the PlayStation 2. And the GameCube edition came out in January of 2005, but didn't include Separate Ways. So if they did something like that where they kind of repeated that, release pattern, that would be very interesting. But I don't know if they're going to do that. We might be waiting until next year. So Dwayne says, it was something different, but they try to bring the horror back, jump scares. RE6 flopped with that in my eyes, and it seemed more of an action game. Yeah, definitely. And he says there was how different the design Chris looked, not just him being skinnier, but the whole face design. Then in RE8 he looked like the old. Yeah, they basically kind of did that because RE7 is like, hey, what's up, RWK? He's in here. I was Frank West for Halloween, says Mubam. Well, there you go. That's a nice, easy costume, which is cool. Frank West is the man. But yeah, to Dwayne's point, yeah, I mean, RE7 was kind of more targeted as a soft reboot, and that's kind of that's what they wanted to accomplish. That's why Chris looks different. That's why, they have very little connections to the other ones, but they try to throw it in there. So, I really hope that, there's a lot of different things that they tried with 7. And like you said, they had to kind of scale it back from like the Michael Bay, action shit that RE6 was kind of, really digging itself, a grave with like just trying to do this identity crisis thing of not knowing what it wanted to be and different, like campaigns that were just completely inconsistent with pacing and what they wanted to do. So RE7 did scale it back and at least set it in the right track where it needed to bring it back to, some jump scares, bring it back to a house. You have all these keys, the crow key, the snake key. Like it's very RE1. So it is kind of like a soft reboot. That's kind of what it did. But then it kind of gradually, when it was successful, then they kind of connected it more and they changed Chris's design more. And, the Not a Hero DLC was, very crappy, but we don't talk about that. You know what I mean? They didn't really expand the story much with him in that game. But then with Village, they tried to, you know, tie it up, but I don't know. Horror fans have started playing RE Remake from '02 on a Series X with HDR. Looks amazing. Love this game. Still the best RE game of all time, hands down. I mean, I love the remake '02. I think it's still my favorite remake for Resident Evil, and I love playing that, and I love going back, and I loved playing it right before RE4 came out. I played that for you guys, and that was a lot of fun. It was just a really great experience. Do you feel RE0 should be remade, says Murderer? Yeah, I mean, maybe I think RE0, I think if RE1 is remade, they should do 0, whether it's DLC or they give it its own little, add on to RE1. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think it'll get its own individual game. So if they don't, I feel like they'll just focus on maybe trying to fill in that story quickly. But I'm not sure. I don't hate RE0 in terms of the story. The gameplay is a little wonky in terms of the inventory management, but I don't hate it in terms of it's like the worst thing I've ever played. Dead Island 2 and Jedi Survivor. I'm hoping there'll be a sale in the holiday season. Want to pick them up? Yeah, I mean sometimes it's better to wait, Jeff M. Sometimes it's better to wait for the price drop. A lot of games aren't worth full price. GS Linux, what's up? Another member. Maybe another game to put on a future poll, Condemned Criminal Origins. Yeah, that is a great game, actually. That kind of brings me back to the beginning of my 360 days, because that was I remember seeing that on TV, and I was like, oh man, that looks awesome. Like a horror game. First person, 360. I still have it over there on the shelf. I have it in a crappy GameStop, EB Games, redid case, one of those used game cases. So I gotta actually get it complete. Hoping Separate Ways comes out in October, says Jeff M. Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a great time for it. Any plans for an OG Code Veronica live stream? I know there's no date for a remake from Capcom. Well, I know a lot of people want me to kind of bring back, Code Veronica on the channel in terms of streaming it or, maybe doing some videos on it. I mean, we've streamed it a bunch of times. I've streamed it. Me and John have streamed it in the past. Code Veronica has been done more than a few times, but I wouldn't mind if I streamed it. I would probably stream Code Veronica X because I've streamed the original Code Veronica. I know we streamed Code Veronica X as well, but I'd like to stream, I don't know. I don't even know what I would do with Code Veronica. There was plans for Code Veronica, but that was a few years ago, and nothing really came from it just because of, stuff that just happened and back then. So it didn't really, it kind of stopped. And I know some people still want to see me talk about Code Veronica, stream it, because I guess it doesn't really get a lot of love when I am at the wheel, choosing the live streams because, not that I hate it. I mean, I've liked it more and more as I played it throughout the years, but, it's a long game. I'm not very good at it, but I do enjoy it, but, I like to approach it a little bit differently, so maybe if I did Code Veronica X or made it refreshing, you know what I mean? I don't know. I've done all these before, you know what I mean? I've played them all before, so I just don't know what other new things I can add to it unless I approach it with a dice lock or something that's fun, a challenge, that is, a little bit different, and that's what the dice lock would kind of, have. But I'd also have to get really good at that game before I attempt something like that because I'm already not very good at it. So, you know, fall would be great. Let's see. What's up? Catching lives back in the office. Let's see. This is from Quentin. Quentin's here, and Quentin is a fellow member supporter. And thanks for being here. He says catching a live stream at the office. We got Najib in here as well. Hope they don't do 0 like they did 3. Well, I don't know how they would really approach 0 unless they like. Man, I really don't know how they would approach 0 without like cutting stuff. Soma is a good game. I think I've heard of that before. Might be a little bit till we see Code Veronica remake, but I think it could still happen. Najib. Milfan says, where would you rank the animal statue puzzle in 0? Because that puzzle was so damn difficult, at least for me. The animal statue puzzle? Oh, man, yeah, with the monkeys, right? Is that the one you're talking about? In the circle? That's pretty annoying. The bomb says, in my opinion, one thing I like about Dead Rising is each chapter is a brand new character, including new protagonist, antagonist, new location. Yeah, they try to switch it up with each game. I know what you mean. Like new entry. 26 gigabyte update for Star Wars today. Maybe it's better. Hopefully. Tony R just arrived. I'm a huge fan of Dead Rising. The game is back. Well, let's talk about that. So, I'll get into that a little bit. We got It's VB in the house too. We got, nothing's officially confirmed, but we'll get into this here. Dead Rising. This is my original copy from 2006. And, I just want to let you know that this game was not developed or approved or licensed by the owners or creators of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. I like how they actually had to put that right there. I always thought that was hilarious because I immediately thought of Dawn of the Dead when you think that you're in a shopping mall. The idea is clearly taken from Dawn of the Dead, and that's not, it's not a bad thing because it was a great idea. I mean, a bunch of people in a shopping mall during a zombie outbreak sounds pretty dope to me. And Dawn of the Dead, the original, is one of my favorite horror films of all time. And Dead Rising came out. Zombies went away from Resident Evil. They started to get into parasites, and this started to, change and shift with its game. So the zombies had to go somewhere else, and they went to Dead Rising. And it follows reporter Frank West, who, is a reporter, and, he's covered wars. You can't mess with him. He knows what he's doing, all right? But he is a photographer, and essentially you're, approaching this mall, getting dropped off here to find out that there's, a bunch of people that are also held up at the mall. There's also, there's a security guard named Otis who won't leave you the fuck alone. There's a few things that you end up, characters you run into, people you have to face, crazy psychos and psychotics, and different boss fights and stuff along the way. A very, cool arcade style game where you can, mess around and just, really either play it a couple different ways, actually. You could play it in the straight way where you're going from, case to case, and you don't have, you have to kill time in between. Because everything in Dead Rising, and I didn't like this back then because I was, not as skilled, but, the whole game has 72 hours and it has this time system where you essentially have to be at a certain place at the exact time or right near it to where you actually have to activate missions, go rescue survivors, do side missions, and it's pretty cool. It's something that I ended up liking a lot more as you get better and played at the game. The first time I played the game, I would end up, failing my cases. I didn't understand that, like, you had to be, it was like that. I thought you could mess around and just, like, kill zombies for a longer period of time, and you have all this time That's not really the case. Like, there is, like, it's about killing zombies, but there's a little bit more to that, and they kind of lost that, like, down the road. They kind of lost that vision, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Dead Rising was, something that I loved, like, replaying and getting better at. It's one of those games that once you kind of understand how it works and how you can maneuver yourself, how you can level up your Frank West, you can, make different shakes and smoothies to give you abilities. Using the skateboard is, like, essential with a lot of this stuff because you can move around faster. Little things to trim down time, knowing where all the stores are and where the little hidden items are located. It's a very cool type of game that they tried to make that was kind of like arcade style, but had, different things that ended up becoming, pretty cool when you started to get used to them. You started to get used to the abilities. You started to get used to the weapons and stuff like that. Everything was expanded with each, sequel, but with Dead Rising, something like this, I really did enjoy this first game. But by the time, zombies kind of shifted into Dead Rising, they were trying to, clearly do something different each game. And the cool thing about Dead Rising 2 is that it expanded it a lot more in probably the best way possible. And that's what 2010 gave us with Dead Rising 2. And Dead Rising 2 was a very fun game. In fact, I still have it over here. So we have Dead Rising 2, and this came out in the fall of 2010. And I mean, what can I say? Same thing with the 72-hour thing, but this time you are Chuck, and you are in. What is this one? This one is in. Where does this one take place? Is this Vegas, or Vegas is 3? This is Fortune City, right? So Vegas. So the thing is too is they try to have it to where the co-op aspect comes in to Dead Rising 2. Now, it's been a little bit since I've played this. I did play this a few years ago on the channel. Shout out to Dave. I played all these with him. And I will be, turning these up again and playing these. I will be definitely going back. And if you play this co-op, this adds a whole different layer to the game because now you can play with friends. There's the slicicles on the multiplayer. There was different stuff that they added that made it even more arcade-like and fun, and you could do a lot more with the Fortune City. That's where it took place. So Fortune City is, basically Vegas, right? You have casinos. You have, a different kind of layout than, just the mall in Dead Rising 1. But I love Dead Rising 2 because the weapons were even more, beefed up. You can combine different things. As you can see, you have a paddle and a chainsaw right on the front there. And this was a lot of fun. I played this a lot more than the first one at the time because it was just a lot more fun to play with friends. And again, at this point, you had RE5 came out a year before this, and, Resident Evil was away from zombies. So, the infinite mode where you try to survive as long as possible. Like, there was a lot of cool stuff in, these first two games that I really enjoyed. And I also like the fact that they had, a very cool idea of, all right, we're gonna have fun with the setting. We're gonna have fun, and we're gonna try this. And I remember Case Zero when it came out. Case Zero was kind of like a prequel of how Chuck got into Fortune City with his daughter, and that was really fun. I have vivid memories of downloading that. It was free. It was like a free demo from Capcom. Well, not even a demo. It was like a prequel, basically. And you had, little missions to do, objectives to do, but it was a prequel to this. And it was a cool thing to get you excited and to just try out everything new. And I just remember playing that in the summer of 2010, August of 2010, and this came out in September of 2010. So really good memories with this game. Very fun. I've had a lot of good fun going back and playing this again on the stream. And then I never played Dead Rising 2 off the record until way later. I actually bought this. I got the receipt in here, so let me see when I bought this. I bought this for the live stream. I bought this July 14th, 2016. That's where I bought it. So that is where I bought this, and it's just in like the standard case. but I got this for the live stream. Because the PC edition was giving me problems. I was trying to stream it on PC, but then we ended up doing it on Xbox. But this is essentially, Frank going into Fortune City, which I loved because I love the concept of them like doing a little spin-off game. But it pretty much feels like a full game. It gives you, what people wanted in, if they missed Frank, they got him back in this one, with the same exact setting and the same, different things with the co-op added in. But you can do, again, more of the Frank West stuff. You're taking pictures again. You could take, pictures with the zombies and shit like that. They improve the camera mechanics in this thing as well, and I had a lot of fun with this. I played this again a lot later. This came out in, when did this come out? In 2011. So if this came out in 2011, I don't know why I just missed this one completely. I just didn't play it. But the Mega Man unlocks. Yes, that's in the first one, I believe. But yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff that Capcom did to kind of extend it a little bit. And when I finally played this on stream with Dave, it was fun. I mean, we had a lot of fun playing this, and there were some funny glitches we encountered, but it was a fun title. The story obviously was a little bit more simplistic, but seeing Frank West with Chuck and stuff like that was really cool. They kind of told it in a different way from his perspective, so they kind of updated the story. They didn't make it exactly the same, and I don't know. I just thought Off the Record was a really cool concept, and I like the idea of funneling in another character from his perspective. So I really was a fan of that. And then that brings us to a few years later. Well, many years later, actually, because this is a couple years later, 2013, Dead Rising 3. And I did not play this game. I have this game. I got this copy from Perry, so I do have it, but I have yet to play it. Because again, I will be live streaming this at some point, and it will be my first full-on playthrough live reaction. And why did I stop after that? Well, basically, I kind of moved on from Xbox at that time. I went to PlayStation 4, and I didn't play it. My friend Brandon played it. A couple other people, Perry played it, and stuff like that. There was that time demo. I remember going over and playing that. So I checked it out, but I never really actually fully played it. It just didn't happen. Obviously now it's on PC. I think I also have it on PC, so I can probably stream it on whatever version looks the best. But yeah, I kind of just stopped with Dead Rising, and then by the time Dead Rising got to Dead Rising 4, they completely took out the time system. They completely took out certain things that made Dead Rising what it was, and they gave it to this Canadian team over at Capcom that kind of botched it, I think. It really did upset a lot of fans because they just really took it away from what it was, and they said, oh, people just want to kill zombies. They don't really care about the time stuff. But I don't know. The time stuff is what ended up, that really ended up being the charm. It ended up being, it's part of that skill. And even regardless of them taking away the time feature, it just didn't really seem like that they really had it all together. Now, I haven't played 3 or 4, so I can't speak from experience, but all of the people that I trust and know that have played Dead Rising, they did not like 4. 4 might as well be again, kind of like any game, that kind of throws it off when it gets to a 4. Sometimes 4 can be really good. Sometimes 4 can be really bad for, a certain franchise or series. But in this case, it wasn't very good, and it led them to cancel Dead Rising 5, and they just completely took Dead Rising away for 7 years, guys. 7 years. It's been 7 years. I mean, it doesn't even seem that long, but yes, it's been 7 years. So now this is a rumor. There's no concrete evidence in this, but it is a rumor. So this is from, Twitter, from Jez Corden, who's a Windows Central gentleman, and he says that Dead Rising may make a return or reboot because someone mentioned it in a fellow conversation and a tweet that was happening. And this is something where, again, there's not anything concrete of this. This is just a tweet, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, it leaked, it's official, believe it. No. But at the same time, is it out of Capcom's ballpark to remake, reboot, bring something back? No. They could easily bring this back. I mean, it's been gone for 7 years. They have the RE engine, which Dead Rising was not running on at the time. It wasn't even introduced at that point. So it definitely needs an upgrade, you know, and the term reboot has been kind of shuffled around here because I don't think they would make a direct sequel. And I mean, I wouldn't be against it. You know, I don't really think we need a Dead Rising, 5, so to speak, like a continuation of that. It could just be called Dead Rising. You could just bring Frank back and, make fans happy. And I think that's all, we really want to see from Dead Rising is something that is, has the timer like the original. You can have a free mode in there if people want to mess around and just kill zombies. But add the timer, add the case files. It just makes sense, especially with, Frank West covering, the cases and stuff like that. That's kind of where it stemmed from. And I know they continued that on until, again, with 4, they kind of took that out. And they brought Frank West back in 4, but took out that traditional style. So that's what kind of made me, was like, I don't know, it made me scratch my head. I was like, I don't really know if I want to dive into this. And I didn't even play this one. So, which I heard was like, fun, okay. I didn't hear anything like great about it like the first 2. Like people said it was good. And it obviously wasn't Xbox exclusive at the time, which, that's, something that, same thing with this, like for a while it was only on here, I believe, on the 360. It was on PS3 as well, but I think it was a little bit later. But yeah, I just think that with Dead Rising, there has to be some kind of revival with Dead Rising, okay, yeah, so it came out on 360 first, and then it came out on PlayStation, Windows, and Xbox, the first Dead Rising, in 2016. So like the anniversary, for the 10-year anniversary, was the last time I actually streamed it for everybody. So it's so funny, like I did the 10-year anniversary for Dead Rising on this edition, on like the old edition, and then after me and Dave streamed it, they were like, now Dead Rising's coming to PC finally, and you can finally play it because they brought it over, which it looks better, the frame rate's a lot better. Like playing it on Steam is probably the best way to play it. But it was fun. I mean, it was fun to replay it and, to go in there and play it again, and to see that the differences in, what they were doing. But what's going on, Christine? Thanks for coming in. Thanks for everybody coming in. I'm going to be, shouting out the chat in a little bit. I'll be reading everything you guys have been typing. But yes, with Dead Rising, man, I mean, I think it really does need to come back. I think the zombies in the RE engine would look awesome. I think all the physics and the destruction and the weapons and everything, if you just had a simple, reboot of Dead Rising 1 and you brought back, Frank West, and, the thing is too, it's like, it's not a hard concept. And I think the one thing that fans really got upset about was they were just like, well, why did you mess this up? Like, how did you mess this up? It's very simple. Every game is like, on its own in a sense, like it still kind of continues, but it doesn't have to be the same characters. It doesn't have to be, so connected. So they could still kind of get a little wild with it, but they didn't even really end up doing that to its justice. And that sucks that Dead Rising kind of got stunted a little bit with its, it did not perform well, and 5 got canceled, and we know about the leak stuff on that. That also kind of happened, but it just never happened with continuing on. So Dead Rising in the RE engine, I'm all for it. I am a fan of Dead Rising. I also would love to go back and replay Dead Rising as well. That's another fun live stream I can go back and play. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, let me know what you think of Dead Rising. In the chat, in the comments. In terms of like, do you want to see it back? Do you want to see, the reboot in the RE engine? I think it would be kind of cool as long as they give it to the right, Capcom team to make things right. And the reboot remake stuff isn't so out of the ordinary now. So it's not concrete. It's not, we don't know yet if anything can happen, but hopefully we get Dead Rising. Hopefully we get Dino Crisis. We get these remakes that people really want. Dino Crisis has been, more in demand in terms of like, and I'm not talking RE, remakes, because I know the RE remakes are, people are going to say Code Veronica, they're going to say, all that stuff. I get it. But for other Capcom titles that need a remake, Dino Crisis is like right up there, and Dead Rising now could potentially be rebooted. So let me know what you think about that. And I'll read the chat now. Try to catch up on the chat. All right, let's see. Abo's in the house. The most amusing part of Dawn of the Dead is a group playing games by shooting a zombie who looks identical to the celebrity. Oh, yeah, in the remake, yeah. Well, Dawn of the Dead was an early 2000s survival horror classic. Well, the original was in the 70s, so that's what came first, which is a better film. I don't mind the remake, but the original Dawn of the Dead from the 70s is way better. But it's fun. Dead Rising 1 was the best. I agree. Smoking Ninja, it's my favorite. Christopher says it's a gem. Too bad they effed up Dead Rising 4. I know, right? I mean, they need to bring it back, Walking Dead didn't have combined weapons compared to Dead Rising. Well, Walking Dead was kind of going for a different vibe. I think the one thing I liked about Dead Rising is that it always had a sense of humor, which is cool. Dead Rising 3 is in LA. Yes. The infinite mode where you try to survive. Yes, that's awesome. Dead Rising is extremely fun, just killing zombies with different types of weapons. Yeah, and just like seeing the counter go up and ranking up the XP. Really fun. Tony R says 2 was awesome, but the first is the masterpiece. Dawn of the Dead, the game. Yeah, basically. It's very, very fun. So much fun. What was really macabre about the second Dead Rising was where you see Chuck's daughter turn into a zombie. One of the dark moments in the game if you can't get the Zombrex to her. Yeah, that whole Zombrex thing was a really cool thing. They did switch it up. And when they brought in Chuck's character, they're like, all right, let's give him a daughter. Let's, show you his, motivation to keep going. Dead Rising 2 off the record was basically Capcom's response to fans wanting Frank back in Dead Rising 2. Exactly, and it worked. Have to check it out when it goes on sale. Definitely check it out. Dead Rising 2 is funny when you get the tiger as a pet if you freed it. Yeah, I know you could do that. I think I remember doing that. I did like the survivors you could save, who you could fight with. Would have been cool if they level the survivors up and have a team-based gameplay perspective. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too. I mean, they can have Dead Rising 1. They can have this reboot, co-op from the start. They can have the AI so much better than how it used to be. And they just bring it back to the same mall, even if they wanted to give it a different setting, that's cool. But, I think the mall would be perfect. Bring it back to that and have, something really cool for the fans. Bring back Frank West. Bring back, another character that he could potentially team up with and make it cool. Make it fun. They can have so much that they can add in here with just today's, mechanics and AI with the characters that work a lot better. Because the AI in the original were so fucking bad. And you had to constantly make sure they wouldn't get caught and they wouldn't get, stuck on the zombies. It was a pain in the ass, and you have to keep going on. Come on, go, come on, go, come on, go. It's so silly. Thank you, Game Complainers, with the $5 super chat. We got Perry in here. Yeah, so we were talking about that. We're talking about Jez Corden. Yeah, I know, right? It's easy to say the other way. We were just kind of discussing that, and I think it's definitely bound to happen. And it needs to happen because I really was a fan of the first one. It was a fun, title that really started to, bring the zombies, keep the zombies around for, something that was Capcom that wasn't Resident Evil, and they kept it going. So Let's see. Running around with 8 survivors trying to get them back to the safe house. Yeah, it was tough. I mean, when you finally got the survivors back at the safe house, it was very fulfilling, you know. So I always like that challenge. I have no opinion on the Stanley Cup. Sorry, I have not played Days Gone, Jeff M. No, I haven't played that. Maybe one day I'll check that out. You know. Yeah, I don't think we'll get Dead Rising 5 King Shadow. What's up, Christine? Again, I wanted to say welcome. Yeah, Dead Rising 5 got canceled. Now we'll get the new Dead Rising reboot at some point when it's officially announced. Dead Rising will happen. Just a matter. Dead Rising Code Veronica remake. Yeah, they'll make that before they make Code Veronica. Basically, if they remake Dino Crisis 2, they better eliminate. They better eliminate the repeating enemies. Yeah, I mean Dead Rising 2, or I'm sorry, Dino Crisis 2 was a very fun arcade like game. So why not have both? It should be possible to remake, but I want something fresh like Dino Crisis and then continue the remakes. Well, they would just kind of start it off, you know what I mean? And will you stream Dead Rising in a wheelchair? Um, no. But you know what I'll actually stream it in? You know those big fat wheelchairs that you can get on the beach, you know, that go on the sand and stuff like that you see at like festivals? I'll stream it from there. So thank you RWK for that. 199. I'll put that towards that fund. And Red Herb says I remember completely buying or burning up my 360 with the original one. Oh yeah, yeah. The original one was very fun. I remember downloading the demo for that too, which was very cool. And we got Thunders Productions with the 22 Canadian. Thank you, brother. Thunders Productions is also a member. So thank you for donating that. I really appreciate that, and that really helps the channel. That's what I meant to say. And thank you guys for coming in here. Always seem to catch your streams after my 14-hour shifts. Yes, I know. It's always because it's late in the UK when I try to stream. You know, I try to stream between 4 and 5 p.m. You know, over here, because unless I'm trying to do a really long stream, I sometimes start a little bit earlier. But that's like the hot spot when most people are online. And I know in the UK that means it's like 10:42 right now for you. So if it's at the end of the day, that's unfortunately some of it will be late. First 2 Dead Rising games were fire. They definitely were. Perry says Ant will stream Dead Rising remake naked for RWK, and then I heard he likes naked hairy Italian men. So that's from Perry. He just said that in the chat. It's very important because we don't really know what kind of men that RWK likes, but it could be me. You never know, and we'll find out. Find out next time on the next episode of LTRE. What kind of men RWK likes, and women. We're not gonna, he could bounce back to whatever he wants. RWK has that freedom. He's also giving to the wheelchair fund, so thank you, RWK, for that. What is happening? The streams themselves, I definitely, I know they're a little bit, later for most people, different time zones, but hopefully you're able to at least catch them in the archive, because I know a lot of people just watch them in the archives or they watch them live. So whatever you got to do. The books were good as well. They give you boosted skills or even special skills like the skateboard buffs. Yes, the books were super important to find, and there's a lot of cool extra stuff that you can do. And once you learn it, and once you learn how to get those skills like up for Frank, it's like it's a game changer. You know what I mean? Chris and Jill bouncing in a wheelchair. Oh Jesus. Yeah, we don't know what's on his wish list, but we're gonna have to read it, and see what he wants, or see what his demands are. The underground parking was full of zombies, and the original Xbox was not able to handle it, and it was burning. Yeah, there. The RWK says I'm down for whatever. See, I told you. He doesn't care. Yeah, no, I do remember the garage in Dead Rising. It was like it would pretty much slow down the game because there would be so many zombies down there, and when you have to do the missions down there, oh my god, like that is. I mean, it's a good way to farm your zombie count. Like you can farm a lot of zombies down there, but yeah, I think that there is a reason why the remake or I'm sorry, the remasters of Dead Rising 1 were a lot better because they could handle that. Mabam says Dead Rising to me is like the Predator movies, have each protagonist have a standalone performance. Yeah, I mean they did kind of switch it up, you know what I mean? And then again, like we were saying earlier, their response to people not liking Frank, they had Off the Record, but you didn't really have to play Off the Record if you didn't really care about Frank that much. But then with 3, then they have a new character, and then 4 they brought about the Frank. But I don't know if I don't know what they're gonna do. You know, I think Dead Rising remake will probably just bring it back to basics. It'll have Frank West. It'll probably have another character for co-op. It'll have a bunch of survivors, and you can bring back the different the crazy clown. You can bring back the crazy shop owner. Get out of my store. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, Perry, for kicking off the super chat train. Robert West with the $2 says, keep up the great work. Thank you. No, it's all good at a time, and it helps me unwind with my stressed brain. Always got time for LTRE. Well, thank you for always showing up. I know a lot of you guys, watch it during stream or after. Dead Rising 3 is still exclusive. Yeah, Perry, I was just showing off your copy. I have all my copies here, actually, but your copy of 3. These are my copies of the originals here. Still have to play this, but I'll be playing this with my friend Dave, who I've streamed the rest of the Dead Risings with. So that'll be very fun. But I will probably revisit Dead Rising 1 and 2 and 3 at this point. Because fuck it. If it's trending and people want to see me stream it, it'll probably happen, in terms of like stuff that's right in the wheelhouse. I love Dead Rising, and I love to revisit it for you guys. And I have better production now. So like if me and Dave wanted to get on here and stream it for you guys, I'm on camera now. I have better equipment. So, because back when I did it, it was like 2016, 2017. I mean, I had good equipment, but it was still like I was still trying to get my identity as far as like live streaming, like trying to figure out if I wanted to be on camera, if I didn't want to be on camera. I was on camera up until that point, but in videos and stuff, it wasn't like I had like a camera for my live stream like how this is. It was different back then. It was still adapting. So if I did Dead Rising now, it would be like how I'm doing Silent Hill. It's like I've done it before on the channel, but it would be a lot better because I got better. So yeah, the old lady with the poodle, Donna, or whatever the hell the poodle's name is. Level 1 from the beginning, and then the game at level 50 feels so different. Level 1 you feel so weak, and level 50 you feel beast mode. That's true. I mean, starting Frank from 1 is really hard because yeah, he barely has any speed or any combat skills. He has no health at all. So yeah, it's definitely hard. What about Time Crisis? Time Crisis is awesome. I love Time Crisis. I still go to the arcade and they have Time Crisis with the snapper gun, Capcom is now back to being Cap God. Hopefully it stays that way, and Konami take note that companies can change their ways. I mean, you're not wrong, Angel. I mean, I think Capcom has definitely it's definitely seen a uptick in a complete change of pace with how they were 10 years ago, and it's good. I think they're doing good. They're feeling good about their stride right now, and they are making a big impact with the remakes. And now you would want to bring something like that back when you can afford it and you're not going to screw it up. So if they're going to do Dead Rising, do it. Because I think there's that RE engine is just waiting to be pushed to its whatever it can do. I mean, imagine Dead Rising 60 frames, rebooted in the mall. Yeah, Slice Sickles need to make a return. Yeah, hopefully. That's what I'm saying. Like, make it like Dead Rising 1, but add the co-op, add the multiplayer, like add the stuff that made those games awesome. I don't know if 4 had multiplayer or even 3, because I never played them, but I really hope that they just keep those features that make it cool. Make it the fact that you can, still do all the customizable weapons and you can add stuff on there. Just make it really cool. It doesn't have to be as bare bones as the first game, because clearly the first game was them testing it, back in '06 when that came out. So now it's a lot better. Dr. Evil likes Dead Rising 3. I prefer not to have a time limit so I can methodically go through and do everything in one playthrough. Well, that's pretty cool. Did the third one not have a timer, or did the fourth one not have a timer, or both didn't have a timer? Did 3 and 4 not have timers? I thought 3 did, but maybe I'm wrong. But I guess everyone has a preference on how they want to play it. You have a killer-looking collection behind you, Anthony. Well, thank you, Murderer. I appreciate that. The dog's name was Madonna. Okay, it's Madonna, not Donna. God, what a stupid name for a dog. Both are stupid names for a dog. Donna, Madonna. Damn. Well, that's why that old lady got carried away in the crowd, I guess. Kay has been a member for 20 months. Says, remake RE7 due to it being terrible. Yay, LTRE, says Kay. Well, thank you, Kay, for being a member. And I know you're not a fan of RE7. RE7 was the soft reboot, but, I guess for better or for worse for some people. Liquor Sarah says if they did a reboot of Dead Rising in the mall, they should have a Romero and Savini zombie Easter egg somewhere. I think that'd be cool. The only Dead Rising game that doesn't have a timer is 4. 3 has the longest timer. Okay, so that's good to know. Yeah, that's what I figured. 4 was more of like the one that didn't have the timer, and that got fans mad. I remember we talked about that on Game Complainers. And I essentially didn't even check out 4, because I remember we talked about it on the show back then, and I guess that was 7 years ago already. Jeez, in terms of when that 4th one came out, and it didn't look good. Fans didn't like it, and then I was like, all right. And I didn't even have an Xbox at the time, so I think that was also a reason why I didn't get 3 right away. I didn't get 4. I kind of waited, and now I guess it's better I did, right? Because now I have some content for you guys, and I could stream it. Playing it with you guys, even if a game sucks, is at least a little bit more manageable, except Dino Crisis 3. But even that will have to be revisited because, and shout out to Perry for also, just being awesome and helping me hack the Xbox. Because of Perry, he's, I did put up the poll for members, Patreon supporters, for the next survival horror game to be played. 2 of those games are on the hacked Xbox, Cold Fear and Fatal Frame, and Silent Hill 2. That's also on there as well. So I guess 3 of them. And then the other one is Dead Space 2. So, but yeah, thank you for that, because that is obviously helping me, have more options to play and stream more stuff. And that's why we hacked the stuff to begin with, because a lot of the stuff is expensive and it's hard to get a hold of, and just having everything in one spot gives me more options. And so that's why he put them on there. So I appreciate that. And Silent Hill 2 is still winning. Silent Hill 2 has, how many votes do we got? If you're a member, you got to go vote on my community thing. Silent Hill 2 has 53%. Cold Fear is 23%. Fatal Frame and Dead Space 2 are tied, 13%. Some people are really excited to see Cold Fear on there. I'm happy that that people are excited about that. Again, I never was able to play it, so now it's on there. Kay likes Dead Rising. Oh, you got the PS2 SSD adapter and the mail video coming soon. Oh, shit. That's awesome, man. Can't wait to see that. 4 was made by the Canadian devs who made it after National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Yeah, they tried to add like a lot more of like a humor quirkiness to it. And not that Dead Rising didn't always have that, but it just seemed like they were like, all right, we're gonna make it like Christmas Vacation. We're gonna set it around Christmas, give it like this Christmas vibe, but we're also gonna take out the guts of what made that game, no pun intended, take out the guts of what made that game cool, which is the timer and like the challenge, If you look at a new picture of yeah, uh, dog does fit very well, Rambo. You're right. Did you say Game Complainers? Is that the channel that shares tea and crumpets with Jim Ryan? We all share tea and crumpets with the people that aren't making good deals and decisions, I guess. Play some Fear Effect 1 and 2. I've never like played Fear Effect. I think I played a demo of that, and I remember seeing it in the stores back in the day, but I never actually played it. Let's see. Have you ever watched the Dead Rising movies? They're so bad. The movies? No. I have not seen anything of the movies. I love Fatal Frame, especially the second one, which is called Crimson Butterfly. Yeah, and I've never played it, so when's the PC build? Hopefully by the summer, RWK. Stevie Mac's in the house. What's up, brother, fellow member? I didn't see you in here earlier, so hopefully I didn't miss you. But what's up, Stevie Mac? Yeah, PC build hopefully happening this summer. I got to work my ass off, stream, make videos in the meantime so I can afford it because this is what I do. So every little bit helps. Like you guys donating the stream helps, and just in general, just watching, liking, subscribing, sticking around, it helps me grow. And I got a lot of big stuff on the horizon on all channels and all stuff that I want to get done this year. So hopefully doing all that in succession will help me get to another computer build, and I could do even more. Parasite Eve 1 and 2, and Alone in the Dark, New Nightmare. Yeah, all that could be done. Another $5 super chat from Perry. He says, rumor is RWK sucked out Jim Ryan's crumpets out his hairy ass. Then RWK poured cold tea on Jim Ryan's nipples. Well, I heard that the cold tea torture is very popular in the Jim Ryan household. The ice cube torture and all that stuff. So I think RWK is adapting very well to Jim Ryan's demands. And there we go. Thank you, Perry, for the $5 super chat. And RWK will no longer accept anything but cold tea. I like how it's cold tea too. It's not hot tea; it's cold tea. It's perfect. So, jeez. Oh man, King Shadow like that one. Yeah, that will be coming in the summer though. The cold tea torture. No. Which aliens do you find scary? Necromorphs or xenomorphs? I don't know. I mean, I always like I love the necromorphs. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the xenomorphs though, that's like classic. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have that without the xenomorphs. So, xenomorphs. Dave's in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you in here, man. The necromorphs are from Dead Space. David R. Remember says you're good, positive guy. With that said, what was the 3 worst horror games that you played? Disregarding Dino Crisis 3. The worst horror games I played. Man. ODT is one of them. That's on PS1. That's a really shitty game. Dino Crisis 3 would be on there, but if I'm trying to be fair and not list Dino Crisis 3, I'm trying to think now. Man, I'm really trying to think. Like, really shitty horror games. I'm not trying to do Resident Evil either because that would be too easy. Ah, man. Oh. You know what? what's it called? I gotta see if this is ODT is Or Die Trying. It was a PS1 game, and it was really bad. And I don't know. It's not really. I guess it's kind of horror. It's like sci-fi horror. Shadow Tower. That's the other one. That's a really shitty game. It's kind of like a role-playing game, but it's not really horror. But it's like a dungeon crawl. But that's a really shitty game. It's not really horror. I used to think it was horror when I was a kid, so maybe that's a cop-out one. But oh man, I got to do ODT and Shadow Tower. I got to put them in there. Uh, Alone in the Dark, New Nightmare. Yeah, I don't know. That one wasn't. I don't remember fond memories of that one, but I would say, I guess the second Amnesia, that was also very disappointing. It wasn't like a horrible game. Shadow Tower goes for big money, and a lot of collectors love it. Yeah, no, it does. I know a lot of people love it too. I bought it digitally on the PS3, I think, when they had, when they had that sale. And I remember playing the Japanese demo of that on Jam Pack, because you used to have to reset your console when you used to play those Japanese stuff. Those are just three that I could think of, Frank West should join Mortal Kombat. Yeah, he'll join MK. We'll get Street Fighter 7 versus Mortal Kombat 13. I heard the Street Fighter demo is really cool, so I got to check it out. Didn't think we'll ever get another Nightmare on Elm Street. I think we will, unfortunately, Dr. Evil, but I don't know. I think they should cast Robert Englund and just like have him for close-up shots, or have him do the voice, or do something with the dude before he's gone. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sound, bitter, but it's been confirmed by the Craven family. Yes, it has. So there is going to be one, but like Perry said, it's just like you have to use Robert Englund in some degree. What is it? Martian Gothic? I never played that Ex Cathedra. Dave said Amnesia 2 is very bad. Overblood, says Abbo. Overblood remake, yeah. Well, Overblood, again, that's something, again, it's the Barry Burton game. So that's something that needs to be remade, like Perry said, before Code Veronica, yeah. Stream Fighter 6 has a demo. Yeah, it's on Xbox, right? It's probably on PlayStation and Steam at this point. Yeah, it has a demo. It comes out next month, so. Second Amnesia's a walkthrough simulator, says Thunder's Production. Yeah. Or Not Trying is great success back in the day in France. I remember that so well. Really? It was big in France? Robert Englund documentary Blu-ray is coming out in June. It's the #1 seller on Amazon. Yes. I pre-ordered that as well. That's coming out. Yeah, we'll be able to watch it when we hang out in June, which is cool. Horror game Agony is pretty awful. I never heard of that, but I guess the name is suiting for what it is. Cam M.A. with the $4.99. Hi, Anthony. Hopefully you're having a nice evening. Glad we're getting some LTRE news. So, as well, I'm excited for more remakes, reboots, and new journeys. Yes, thank you, Cam M.A. Yeah, it's been fun to kind of give you guys a little bit of an update, and obviously, just kind of what's been going on. Like I said, I just finished the RE4 professional new game stream last week, and now it's time to kind of move on and get another live stream series kind of up and going. That's just different than Resident Evil. There's so much untapped material, so it's a lot of that is going to happen, and I talked about that a little bit in the last live stream stuff. Thank you for the other $4.99, Cam, with the sticker, the super sticker. And yeah, I mean, it's fun. In Silent Hill 2, I kind of assumed was going to win, and which is fine because I can start that sooner rather than later. And maybe yeah, I could have waited a little bit to stream Silent Hill 2 closer to the remake, but screw it. Nope. We'll just do it live. Fuck it. And we'll do it that way, and we'll have so many people coming in watch me play Silent Hill 2, just like Silent Hill 1. And that's what makes it cool, is that I can kind of experience it again. We're going to switch off on death when we run back Dead Rising. Honestly, yeah, Dave, I think we could probably switch off on death. That's kind of something that usually works with, like, you know, I don't know if that's how we did it last time. I don't remember. We might have just switched off in parts. But yeah, we could probably switch off on death or case, like per couple cases, if, like, you know, we're like ready to play it. But yeah, Dave, we'll definitely do that this year. I mean, Dead Rising will probably make a comeback this year in terms of on the channel. I don't know if the remake or reboot will be announced, but it could be. I mean, this shit could be announced next month. And then I'm like, all right, Dave, we got to do it in the summer. You know what I mean? Which will be cool. Like I said, I'm embracing the change and doing different things here on the channel that are just horror and survival horror or whatever the fuck, and stuff that we've done before, but it's, you know, revisiting with better production, better cameras, better mics, you know, that kind of thing. So the live stream setup has gotten a lot more extensive since then, since 2016, since we did the 10-year anniversary stream of Dead Rising. And that was the same year they put it out on something other than 360, finally, for the first time. So it's kind of funny that we streamed it first, and then it got announced of, like, oh, now it's on everything. It's like, we just streamed it. We just streamed it for the 10th anniversary. And so now when we stream it, we're going to be streaming the better version of Dead Rising, because that's the one that's on Steam, and it runs in 60. X says, Nightmare Creatures 1 and 2 were fun. Yes, I played the demos for them. I never played the full game, but it's something I can always play. Can't wait to see my beloved Rebecca Chambers and Jill in Death Island. I can't wait for Death Island, Kamame. Seriously, thank you for being a member as well for 14 months. Thanks for supporting all the channels, and really appreciate you, man. And yeah, I can't wait to see Death Island. That's like the one, that's like the next RE related thing that's really being released and for me to cover. So it's going to be a little light with Resident Evil news until Capcom comes out with an event, or they say something at the Sony event that says, hey, here's a new game. So, you know, that's the only thing us fans have something on paper that we have to look forward to that isn't, you know, your separate ways for RE4 and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. X says, Agony is a first-person horror game where you try to literally escape hell. It tried to be overly disturbing with the art direction, says X. Okay, so it was a try-hard. Grand Theft Auto to have zombie mode, or even the game like Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare is probably my second favorite DLC, right next to Lost in Nightmares for RE5. I thought Undead Nightmare was awesome. The fact that they didn't do something like that for 2 really, like, upsets me, but I don't expect them to repeat the same stuff. But I love the fact of them bringing in zombies and Sasquatch and, like, all these things to Red Dead. You know, that was a really fun thing. And I remember I got it physically, like the physical copy, so I can get that poster. Will I check out the Texas Chainsaw game? Honestly, yeah, Rambo. I might check that out here on this channel. Because I didn't do it for the other games, but now don't forget to include Redfall on your list of awful horror games. Well, I haven't played that one, but, you know, that might be up there if I try to play it. Horror Fan did not like Friday the 13th. It was so tedious and had horrible bugs. I'll stick to the movies. Well, Horror Fan, I would say yes and no to that, because yes, it launched very bad, but the actual, like, you know, updates did fix it on PC, and it ran pretty good, and we had fun with it, you know, when we played it. So, yeah, I'm excited for Death Island 2. Jeff M, can't wait. Play Visage game. I played many horror games by far, and it's the scariest one. Visage? Danny says, okay, something to consider. I think you'd enjoy Evil Dead Fistful of Boomstick if you ever played that one. So I never played that, but again, shout out to Perry. He hooked it up with 2 Evil Dead games on the original Xbox. He put that on there. So stoked for the Texas Chainsaw game. Perry says it launches in Game Pass in August. Yes, it does. And yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll be able to stream it with a couple of you supporters on here, or, you know, we could do a fun live stream on it. I don't know. I love horror, so, you know, doing some Texas Chainsaw, it would be different for the channel, but it'd be fun, and maybe we can experiment. Redfall is a horror game as much as Left 4 Dead is a horror game. Well, that's the thing too. It's more of like an arcadey style thing, but at least Left 4 Dead, you know, was a lot more better and memorable than what I've been seeing with Redfall, and it's a big shame. But I don't want to get depressed about, you know, Redfall. We don't have to talk about that. The beta on Steam is this month. For Texas Chainsaw? Shit. I mean, I probably missed that sign up, but if it's an open beta, then I'll try it. But yeah, if I'm assuming it's going to be crossplay. It should. You know, the Evil Dead game was crossplay, so I think everything should be crossplay at this point. So, because one thing Friday the 13th didn't have was crossplay, so we ended up having to buy it on like everything if you wanted to play with like your friends on Xbox, your friends on, So it was kind of annoying. That was like right before the crossplay stuff started to happen, but um, yeah, Jeff M, it will be on Game Pass in August. Hell yeah, Jeff. Yep. How do you feel about Outlast? Second one is actually good too. I like Outlast. I mean, I played the first one and I did enjoy it. I played Whistleblower. I enjoyed it. That was the DLC for that. But I just never played two. But like, a lot of people didn't like two as much. I remember Callie said she didn't like it as much. A couple other people said they didn't like it, but I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind playing it, but I think it seemed like Outlast 1 had more going on. It was a little bit more memorable than the second one. But is Evil Dead single player or offline? I think you could do single player missions. Yeah, they do have standalone missions you can do. Is it as fun? No, but they do have offline missions and stuff, and it's on sale. They got the Game of the Year edition. I think it's worth it. I thought Evil Dead was very well done, and they did obviously fix the bugs. They fixed the performance stuff. Not that it suffered very long. That wasn't a game that like suffered from a bunch of bugs. A lot of people thought A lot of people were giving Evil Dead shit right when it came out, but like it was actually fun. And then they had updates where it kind of was breaking the game, but then they had updates where it kind of fixed it. So now it's like fine, and I don't have a problem with it. I just never really played it as much. Amnesia the Bunker is coming out soon. Well, I'm good on Amnesia. First is more about the Wall Rider, whereas the second one is more the religious references. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, because I think that's what we're looking up. We're looking up like the endings and shit of that, Dave. I think me and you, right? So I think I saw a little bit of that. Oregon Trail is a horror game. My people never survived. Oh, is that like where you have to survive to the end? Would it be fun if Dead Rising had a mode where you could play it as characters from other zombie properties, like for a couple examples? Well, I mean, to be fair, Mabam, all you got to do is get it on PC, and believe me, there'll probably be mods for all the above. You know what I mean? Especially because all those models exist on PC one way or another. So, that's what modders are cool for. They get that stuff running. Evil Dead needs to be always online, even with the offline mode. You don't need plus or gold to play the single player missions, says Perry. Well, there you go. Plot Outlast 2 has a connection to the first game. Just have to get the files. Well, yeah. I mean, I'd assume they try to connect it in some way. I just never gave it a chance. Amnesia 2, I think we tried to play. Me and Dave at some point. We didn't like it that much. I never tried Outlast 2, but I did get Outlast 1 when it was free for the PS Plus members back in like 2014, like that long ago, so almost like 10 years ago. RWK with the $2 says, I heard Perry likes when you cross play in his pants. That's what RWK said. I like you guys are just like going at each other through super chats. That's funny. And the connection, but it has a connection to... It's a thin connection, but it has a connection to 1. Okay, that's what X says. Thank you, RWK, for the $2. Have you played Little Nightmare? It's a fun game. I haven't played that, no. Believe it or not, there's a lot of stuff I just haven't played. And I know there's a lot of, I know there's a lot of people that want me to do a lot of stuff, a lot of streams, and I'd love to get to all that stuff, you know what I mean? And I can. Like I said, I'm not opposed to staying in one spot, staying, like comfy with just like, I'm just going to do RE, fuck it, I don't mind doing other horror endeavor stuff on here that is in the same realm or wheelhouse, and I'm not going to stay complacent, you know what I mean? So, Perry said super chats are small as Winky. Rambo says, the Oregon Trail is the old Western computer game from when I was a kid. You always get dysentery sickness or such. Seemed like horror because you always die in it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that some of the old stuff that I also missed out on, and so yeah, sometimes when you are kind of just covering, Resident Evil, or you're just kind of playing your normal stuff, you do kind of miss out on other stuff, horror included, or I never even began to, see certain titles. So, that's all going to happen. You know what I mean? In terms of, starting off with Silent Hill 2, or continuing with Silent Hill 2, because we did the first one. So it helps the channel and it makes you happy. I'm down for anything new and different. Yeah. I mean, exactly, Mr. Patriot. And I've always done different, horror stuff on here before. 10 years, like literally almost 5 or 6 years ago, we did Dead Rising. Like I said, there's been, I've done Eternal Darkness on here before. I've done, Tormented Souls. So, I started to kind of pepper that in a little bit more. And especially over, of course, the last year when the last year with things going back to running everything solo again and on my own, I obviously wanted to, bring it back to the first 8 years and on the channel when it was just me on here, and I would discuss stuff or have a thought to play a game, and I would just play it, if it was like something that I felt like playing. So I'm going to just continue to do that. And once that's why, yeah, the first thing I did the beginning of 22 or end of 21, or I'm sorry, yeah, end of 21, beginning of 22 was play Tormented Souls, because that was a brand new survival horror game. It was in the style of Resident Evil, the old ones, fixed camera angles, and I thought it would go over very well, and it did. I didn't get the most viewers live stream wise, but I think in the archive a lot of people checked it out and enjoyed it. But Silent Hill, playing that live was just awesome because you guys really turned out for that, and again, I really appreciate that. But yeah, Soma someday, best story I've ever played. Soma? Okay, I think someone else said that, Masood, I think. LTHG, Let's Talk Horror Games, new channel name. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna change the channel name or anything like that. LTRE is the bread and butter and stuff, but I'm not opposed for. Little known fact: an old Spider-Man vid used to be his most viewed vid for a while. Exactly, yeah. A lot of the Spider-Man Let's Plays got a lot. When I started this channel, it was just called Resident Evil 9888. But right before I made the channel, I had these Spider-Man Let's Plays that I completely lost because the channel got taken down and I didn't back up my videos back then. So I felt like this weird feeling of like I have to go and re-record these Let's Plays and get them out, even though I wanted to move in a Resident Evil direction. So fun fact, yes, that's why the Spider-Man PS1 Let's Plays are technically one of the first Let's Plays on this channel, right after RE4. RE4 was the first one. RE5, technically DLC, was the first one. And then it was RE4, and then it was Spider-Man that year, because I just wanted to redo them. And then I never really went back to that again, obviously, but those are one of my favorite games. Nothing like that would be out of, would be streamed on here, again. But a lot of people would wonder, like, oh, are you going to just, do the stuff on here, the horror stuff on here? That's basically what I would do, just do Resident Evil on here. It's always the main bread and butter. LTRE is not going anywhere, and it's not gonna. It's easy for someone to just come on here and say, "All right, it's done. I'm making a change," But I think with, like I said in the last stream, I want to be able to have that third, kind of outlet, that third channel that will hit up on things that, people always wanted me to do. It doesn't mean that there's going to be any focus that's shifting from one channel or the next. This is still going to be the biggest channel And a lot of people are just going to be like, "What? You're stupid. You're starting over. What are you doing?" Um, but it wouldn't be starting over. It's just kind of continuing. It's just kind of a continuation of what I've already done. And if you're saying third channel, well, I have LTRE. I have my film channel, which is even older than this channel. And why can't I make a third channel? You know, why can't I try to grow in another way as well? And you know, obviously that's what I'm doing. But I'm not gonna try to talk about it and be like and not have anything to show for it. You know, because I hate that. I don't like that. I don't like making those like false promises or like, you know, like spouting bullshit. You know, if I say it, I mean it, and that's kind of what I. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm not. I know I have more potential to even do even more stuff outside of RE, and I'm going to do that. And you know, a million of other people have multiple channels, and they make it work. And I understand now the variety is the spice of YouTube. You know, people like variety channels. You know, the niche thing's cool, but some people, you know, but I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, you know, I'm not going to give it a shot in terms of like I want to do a channel that is just like whatever the fuck I want to do. And on top of games, like, you know, if I did something cool with games that is not Resident Evil or horror, guess what? I have another outlet for it. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's going to be called. I don't know what it's going to be, but I already have an idea of how I want to kick things off. And it's going to be this year, and it's going to be really fun. But I don't want to, like, you know, I'm not saying that it's launching now. I'm not saying it's starting now, but it's just something that I am going to do, and you will be seeing. The only two channels that exist right now, Smoking Ninja, is LTRE, and then I have my film channel, Inocula Productions, which I will post in this chat here. It's another channel that I want to do more on as well. Films obviously take a while, and they're a little bit longer to get done and made because you need, you know, you need a lot. There's a lot of moving parts, but there's no excuse as to why I can't, you know, flex the muscle even more on my film channel while I'm trying to build everything up, you know. And this is my film channel, by the way, so I just posted that in the chat. Stream highlight videos, maybe on what, the third channel. You know, I don't know. I know a lot of channels, like sometimes, like for LTRE, I feel like, okay, if I want to start doing highlights, should I just put them on here? But then I know a lot of people put them on second channels where they call them, like, it'll be their channel name but clips, or like channel name and that. And I know a lot more, you know, like larger people on YouTube do that. So I don't know if I would do that yet or how I'm gonna approach that. But you know, like I said, like when the channel launches, there's going to be something on it. There's going to be stuff that I'd like to present, you know, and I'm not going to say what it is and what I'm working towards for that. But, you know, I know I'm just not going to stop myself. You know what I mean? And I know you guys want to see that too. And you guys show up here because of me. And I know you guys would show up no matter what I talked about on here. Even if I came on here one day and said, you know, oh, I'm changing this stuff or I'm changing the brand. But I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. I've worked too hard. Maybe it's a pride thing, but I've worked, you know, too hard to just stop this and change this and not make it a Resident Evil channel. No. You know what I mean? Like, or RE or survival horror channel. Like, absolutely not. Just absolutely not, because I work too fucking hard. And if other people can do multiple channels and also find success in their own lanes and keep it niche on one channel and variety on the other, then why the fuck can't I? You know, like, I know what I can do. I know what I'm worth, and I know what I can fucking make happen. So I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm going to be the longest running member on that one, says Dave. Doing it right away. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? And I know, like, I have a following here, and I have, you know, an anchor of people here. Like LTRE obviously makes me, you know, the most money, the income. This is what's, you know, monetized right now. I don't have another channel that's monetized besides this. I want that to change. You know, I want all three of my channels to obviously be monetized. My film channel, I'm almost there, but I only need 1,000 subscribers, guys, on, like, you know, the film channel, the inevitably, you know, third channel, whatever that is. And it's not that hard to attain, but I also just want you guys to know that, like, you know, you're just going to get more of me on all three of those things. Is it hard to manage three channels? Sure. Is it hard to maintain it? Sure. Is it hard to do it DIY? Sure. But with time management and more efficiency, and as I get this computer built this summer, which is the plan, you know, everything will move a lot more smoother. And even what I have now, what I'm working on now, in terms of like the stuff, like the computer I'm working on, it does. There is some issues I run into, but it's not completely blocking me from like already starting to work towards the next step on this channel, the next step on the film channel, like I'm not completely like stunted on what I can do because of like my PC yet, and like I'm gonna knock on wood for that one because I'll get into a funny little story at the end of this here. But basically, my main point to you guys is that I'm not going anywhere. LTRE isn't going anywhere, and I'm just going to be able to expand and grow beyond what I'm just doing. You know what I mean? And thank you for subbing to this film channel. And yes, the film channel, I want to cover movies. I want to do reviews. I want to be current, you know, because films are so hard to get done. You know, I'm a director, I'm a writer, I'm a filmmaker, and the process is tough as you get older because jobs come in the way. If you want to start paying, you know, actors and put more money in production, like you want to start doing that so it's worth their time. So you always need budgets with stuff like that. That's all stuff that I can work towards making more efficiently and faster. Um, the film channel I've had since 2007. You know what I mean? So I'm a filmmaker at heart, but I'm also a content creator, and you know, I'm just not going to let anybody or any other thing kind of get in the way and stop me from just flexing the muscle on what I like to do at different capacities, you know. And yeah, I can go, and then, you know, the variety, the switch up channel, uh whatever the third channel is, and thank you guys for subscribing. I really got to get that to 1,000 subs. um and unfortunately, and you might be like, well, what's going on with the film channel? Because I tried to start doing stuff like slowly starting to put videos together, but truth be told is that it's not worth the time right now, because if I stream and do something like this on here, it's worth more of my time, because I can get donations, I can get, you know, I can run ads. Like that does make a huge difference on whether or not I can, like, this is more like all my full time right now is into LTRE. It's not like, you know, 20% this, like it's 100% this channel right now, because this is what generates income, you know, and that's just me being transparent and honest. But I mean, it's apparent too, because when you go on the channel, it's not 1,000 subs. You need 1,000 sub minimum, certain amount of watch time, stuff like that. So it's going to get there, and that's fine. You know, I have to obviously produce more on there regardless. So even me saying that is giving an excuse to say, well, you could still do this video, that video, the other video to get it further. And I do. So I have to set aside time that doesn't take away from time on here that could work for equally to that. And the same thing when I introduce another channel, you just might get reviews on games that I want to review, or you might get a reaction, or you might get a vlog, or you might get, like, it's going to be like a more of a me branded channel. So you might say, oh, well, is it going to be a gaming channel? Well, sure. I mean, it could be a gaming channel, but, you know, it primarily could be a gaming channel, but it could be just more vlogs, behind the scenes, like everyday life stuff, you know what I mean? Of like the behind the scenes of a content creator, like things like that. You know what I mean? Have you got any favorite movies to shout out? Oh, man. I mean, there's so many, you know? I mean, I love Halloween. That's like my favorite movie of all time. You know what I mean? I love Back to the Future. It's like my second favorite movie of all time, you know? That's just like, it should just, Rocky 4. You know, um, I mean, there's so many uh, that I could list off. You know what I mean? But I don't want to turn it into a whole film discussion on here. But that's what that other channel is. But I know what you mean. I mean, you're interested. But that's what I'm saying is I'm happy you guys are interested in those discussions, because that's what those different channels will kind of scratch that itch, so to speak. So I appreciate you guys subbing to that, and that's basically what I'm planning on doing this year is I'm just gonna obviously break out of my comfort zone and have this channel that is more of like everything I like, and to do stuff with friends on that channel too. Like if me and Dave want to do a Dead or Alive video or something, or we do like a crazy Dead or Alive like compilation of crazy matches that we have or something, if we film it, that's something that could be done. So that's my point. Turtles in Time, stuff like that. Always wanted to do like a co-op stuff on that with my friends in person. That could be done. Just different things. OG Halloween is so good. I picked up the 4K last year. It's fantastic. Yes, that transfer is great. Happy birthday, Paul Ace, says Cannibal. I like the Dark Knight, one of my favorite. Oh, Dark Knight's amazing. Yeah, fantastic movie. Yeah, so many great. I love the birthday cake and the robot. Hell yeah, never forget the robot scene. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to. Blah. I don't even know if I wanted to hit up on all those topics just yet, but I think I just kind of wanted to honestly speak about it, because we're on the topic of like trying different things and trying new things here on this channel too. Because I don't want to stop the growth on this channel, and could my third channel potentially pass this channel one day? I don't know. Maybe, you know what I mean? Same thing with the film channel. I don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen. YouTube's always ever changing, but this is the biggest thing I got right now is what you guys give to me in the community, what you guys give back, what, 21K and climbing, but I do understand. I do recognize that if I want to do this like I have been doing it full time and the extent I've been doing it, Game Complainers is still your channel too. Yeah, that's true. No, Game Complainers is, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. I mean, I've been doing that for 10 years. This month will be 10 years. So I'm still on Game Complainers every Wednesday at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. But no, and appreciate that. I mean, again, that's what I'm saying is I know like what we built there is also very special, and what we built, and all these. But I know right now with like the stuff that I want to create, and I know like that's the thing too. Like the only time people can hear me kind of talk a little bit different on games is on the Game Complainers. That's why it's been really great for people to kind of go on there and hear me discuss, stuff in the news and all that stuff. And that's never going to change, even if I have another channel that is another gaming / not even just gaming, but just variety of stuff I want to talk about. And Game Complainers has always been fun because it's been a break from, just talking about Resident Evil, you know what I mean? So that's why I always liked Game Complainers, and it's always been a great outlet for me being a co-host on there, because it is what the title is, you know what I mean? And, we always have fun hanging out or doing live streams and stuff. Thunder's Productions with the 5 gifted memberships, being generous as hell. Jane Doe, Pablo A, RWK, Ryan, and Diamond Rattler now are members courtesy of Thunder's Productions. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that. Thanks for gifting the memberships. And you guys can now vote on the new poll. 10-year show next week. Yes, it is. It is going to be on Thursday the 18th. We're going to be live. We're going to do something really cool and live in person. Come down if anyone's in New York, seriously. But yeah, it's fun. We, 10 years doing all this stuff is just a crazy milestone. So that's what I'm saying is like, it's crazy when you hit these milestones. 13 years for LTRE, 10 years for Game Complainers. AOX was made, in 05, 06, right? So it's like it's crazy. You hit all these milestones, and you're just like, damn, man, like it goes by really quick. But I'm so happy to like celebrate it and be a part of it, and like, you know, gaming has had ups and downs, man, like in those 10 years. So it's very crazy. And yes, I will link Game Complainers as well. Game Complainers is always live every Wednesday, so we'll be live tomorrow. And here is the Game Complainers. So yes, technically, yes, I'm already a part of 3 different channels. 2 of them being ran by me, the other one being ran by Perry. But I am the co-host and regular over there. So yes, part of 3 channels. 2 of them I built from the ground up, and soon to be 3. And Perry built up AOX from the ground up and Game Complainers. So it's like we've been doing this for a long time. And yes, click that link right there. Subscribe to the Game Complainers. I know there's about 44 of you in here. You might not be subscribed over there, but we're live every Wednesday, and Perry uploads unboxing videos. He does hacking, modding live streams as well on his own time, which of course has led to us, you know, being able to access a bunch of cool stuff and obviously stream it for you on the channel. So check it out. And let's see. Make sure I didn't miss any comments. Thank you again, Thunders Productions, for that. So I have a crazy story that I guess I'll finish. Appreciate that, Danny. Thank you for subscribing, guys. Smoking Ninja sub. Thank you, guys. Thanks for checking it out. And again, I know that you guys, the reason why the community is cool is because you guys show up for our personalities. And no matter where we go, what channels we do, multiple endeavors, you guys show up for us. You guys, Perry's one of the funniest mofos. Perry's one of the funniest dudes I've ever met. The funniest dudes I've known for my life. So yeah, your PC build will be live on Game Complainers too. It will be. Yeah, so all that stuff will be live. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. All the PC builds that we've done in the past, or that Perry's done, I should say, in the past handful of years have all been live. So yeah, all that stuff will be live on there, and I'll link that as well. Third channel name: Let's Talk Glass Desks Randomly Breaking. Well, that's, you know, that's the scary part. Fitz says Perry's the man. Yes, he's helped me out, and really great brother through the years. And you know, that's the one thing too. Again, like all this, we've all met through YouTube, so that's the cool thing. And I think that's one thing we'll really discuss on the 10-year anniversary. I'm sure. Not only that, but where has gaming gone in 10 years, and how it's, you know, you could say some things have improved, but some things stay the same, right? So it's going to be fun, but we're also going to do some funny stuff. We're not going to focus so much on the negative stuff on the 10-year anniversary show, because it's been, you know, it's been a fun ride on the show. So we kind of want to celebrate that instead of like, you know, oh, let's just, you know, every week we got to talk about some crappy news with both of the you know, console and companies and all that stuff. So it's always, the name is being more true to the experiences going on now, just like they did 10 years ago. So it's kind of funny how it comes full circle. Catches bullets with his teeth. Yeah, and so, but yeah, so funny story. So basically, another thing that I kind of had to deal with over the weekend, or it was on Friday. And hold on, I got to take a sip of I got something real for your ass in these hands. Let me take a sip of tea real quick. I agree, Rambo. I wasn't too big on the Rocky 4 director's cut. Wasn't too big on that. It was okay, but like the original's the best cut. I'll take the robot any day over that stuff. But yeah, so I'll finish with this story here. So essentially, last Friday, we get a storm. And we get a lot of storms in South Jersey. Just in Jersey in general, you know. A lot of rain, thunder, lightning happens, right? So this lightning struck down, probably 5 to 10 minutes away, give or take, maybe, 15. I don't know exactly like where it struck, but it struck enough to where it shook a lot of houses, like actually shook the house. Even if you weren't so close to it, that's how hard it struck down. So we didn't lose power. There was no surge or anything like that, but obviously that doesn't matter, right? So I get settled in Friday night, I ready to go. I come downstairs, try to turn on the TV. My Sony TV doesn't turn on. Sony TV doesn't turn on. Well, that's not good. So I unplug it, try to plug it into something else. Nothing. Everything else on the power, or on the, on the stand turns on. PS3 turns on. PS5 turns on. Xbox turns on. Okay. Computer turns on, right? I was like, okay. Now, things don't have to be on for them to be surged, right? But I'm not stupid. I have them plugged into a, what probably would be a $200 surge protector that I got for $60 back when I worked at Best Buy. So it's a pretty hefty, it's a Panamax surge protector. And my Sony TV doesn't fucking turn on. And I'm like, that's not good. So I was like screwed. So my friend, I hit up my friend, shout out to Joe. I hit him up. And also, by the way, when this happened, no internet. Internet was completely out for 24 hours. Comcast, you know the deal. Like bullshit always, right? So no internet. My Sony 900E does not turn on. So, I'm obviously freaking out, but I got to wait till the next day because my friend I was going to hang out with anyway was going to bring over the power strip because he has another Sony TV and he has the same exact 19-volt brick. So the power to the Sony, it's like power to the TV goes down to a brick, and then it's the polarized double prong cable that is used on PlayStation and Xbox, the power cable that goes into the other side and then out to, where you plug it in. Turns out that the brick got fried. The surge protector essentially saved it, and it took out the brick instead. So I plug in my friend's power thing, the fucking TV turns on. I'm like, thank God. But the brick is completely dead. Now, it was a close call, but if I didn't have that fucking surge protector, that actual, like, and this isn't just like, a surge protector you get at like Walmart. It's like, it's pretty hefty, and it has power filtration, all that shit. It basically knows that when it detects a surge or detects the power going out of line, it makes sure that stuff is completely powered. There's no power going to it. And yeah, X900E has a shitty brick, so essentially the brick died. So the surge protector saved my TV, and I was almost out of $1,200 TV. But I got to order another power brick, so my friend sent me a link to one. I'm going to order one, and that's what I have to do. But he's letting me use his for now, and, that's the one. It was funny because the one night, physical media, he actually needed it. So, I was able to pop in a Blu-ray or pop in, something. But I was pretty pissed, right? No internet. So, but all the lights on the router and the modem work. So I was like, okay. No Wi-Fi in the house. People can't watch stuff, whatever. And that brick hangs. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it was crazy. So it's the surge protector fucking saved my ass, right? But it didn't save the router. My $300 router upstairs, it's a tri-band Nighthawk. I got it before I left Best Buy, so I spent less than $300, but you get what I'm saying. It's a $300 router. That's fucking dead. So essentially, I call Comcast in the morning. because I didn't know what was happening. I wanted them to check outside because I didn't know if the signal got screwed up outside, if the coax, because obviously Comcast is they're like 80 years old and they love coax cables. So I call them in the morning, and then this lady is telling me that she can't send anyone out until Wednesday, almost a half a week later. And I said, no, we have people that work from home, rerun businesses here. Like, I pretty much said, like, you got to fucking send someone out. So she says she'll call me back in an hour. She calls me back in an hour, surprisingly, and says, okay, we're going to get someone out there from 2 to 4. Because I needed to check it. Now, all the lights on the stuff was good. That's why I didn't suspect that it was fried, the router. So the dude comes out. The dude's actually really nice. When you get the dudes in person, you can try to go to the electric company and get you a refund for damaged tech. I know, right? Because the thing is, too, in the Panamax, they're supposed to insure stuff, too, like the actual brand of surge protectors. So it's something we're trying to figure out as we speak, because it's still not sorted out, to be honest with you. So I'll kind of get to that. So essentially, comes out, tested. The guy that comes out was really nice, which is like a nice change of pace for Comcast, because when you got to call them, and you know what they tried to do? They tried to like lie before he came out. They tried to call me and say, oh, well, we see that your signal is back on, so why don't you try to do it again? And they were like, oh, unplug it. So I'm lying to the dude, like, okay, yeah, I unplugged it again. Because it's like, I'm not unplugging it again. I already fucking did this, But, and you're right, Perry, that's something I should probably look into, because it's a hefty amount of equipment. The modem is almost $200 too. Thank God the modem didn't go. But essentially, he comes inside, he checks the modem, checks the router. He actually checked all the cables too, just to make sure the cables weren't wrong. And then we checked the modem connected right away. But then when we checked the router, and he was like, that's your problem right there. And I was like, all right, so now I know what I got to do. Turns out my friend Joe, who was able to work something out, obviously, and he was able to come back with just a temporary router for now. We needed something that night. And we wanted to kind of sit down, see how we could like figure out either how to get money back for this router, or obviously afford it and just put out another $300. Long story short, we got another router for now, just to get things like how I'm streaming now. No problems. This is my first stream with the new router. No problems. I'm hardwired anyway, so I'm not really the one that has to worry. My brother Nick, he's the one that streams through Wi-Fi, so he's the one that probably has to worry more. There's only like a couple devices that are really like fully streaming through Wi-Fi, and it's only an upstairs TV, and then he's streaming through Wi-Fi. Anytime I stream, I'm hardwired. I'm good to go. I got a hardwire on my console. Like, I'm good. I learned my lesson. But it's fine for now, but I'm going to try to get back, a new version of that Nighthawk. But essentially, $300 router down the drain. And guess what? I had the warranty from Best Buy, but Best Buy only lets you get 2 years on routers, and it expired last year. So I tried that, and that didn't work either. But like Perry just said, buy another one from Amazon or Best Buy and return it. Fuck that. Let Netgear deal with it. I mean, that's true. I mean, but I got to figure this out. Essentially, it's not anything detrimental. It's kind of one of those things where like you have like a shitty. You're dealt a shitty hand, and for me, the last few weeks in April and the first week of May have definitely just been like kind of shitty, but like not so much like all around, but it's just been like random, like of course this would happen, like events of you're just like, what the fuck, man? So I almost lost my $1,200 TV. I lost my $300 router. The brick obviously can be salvaged, and shout out to Joe who gave me the brick from his other 900E that he's not using right now, so he gave me the brick. But yeah, so that kind of happened, but they didn't charge me. Comcast said that like the guy said that he made it, he put it in the system to where he replaced something outside, so he wouldn't have to charge us for a service. So he was a really cool dude. And he honestly, like, he was pretty efficient. We were the last appointment for his day, so he was able to enjoy his weekend. But he wasn't, like, rushing us. He wasn't acting like I was stupid. He knew I knew what I was talking about, you know what I mean? So that could have been a lot worse. Um, but that's what I had to deal with essentially, and it's annoying. And you know what pisses me off, and Perry can relate to this, because I have an extra Nighthawk dual band router. It's not a tri-band, but it's a dual band router that I had hanging around the house, and I can't find it. Like, it's like, you saw it, you know where you put it, but then when you actually need something, you look for it and you don't know where it is. And I was looking like all over, and I was like, oh man, because maybe we don't got to put out the money. Obviously, this temporary router I can return to Best Buy within 2 weeks and just get the money and apply it towards, the other router. So I'm going to hang on to this router for now, and then I'm going to disconnect it, return it, and then just decide, like, maybe me and Nick can split it, you know what I mean? Because I put out my, full money for this last router. Like, I bought all the shit. So maybe this time I can kind of figure something out to make it, but yeah, that's what I'm saying, Perry. It's always like when I need something the most, I always just like lose it, or I put it somewhere stupid. And I know I saw it. I know I had it. I did not throw it out. And I said to myself, this router is perfectly fine. I'm not going to give it away, and I'm not going to throw it out. So let me just keep it. Don't know where it is. And I'm just like, fuck, because that could be just fine. Like, I don't need a tri-band router, but like if I had that, that's still like almost a $200 router that I got. So Amazon, send that brokerage ship back, spend no money. So you're saying like order a new one and then return it, like order a new one, keep the new one, and then return it with the old one? Is that what you're saying? That was like me and my Wi-Fi password, but then found out the password they put on the box itself. Yeah, they do. They always give you the default stuff. Put the thing in the Steiner recliner. Yeah, and of course I pay for all my own equipment, so I make sure Comcast doesn't charge me, But yeah, anyway, I wanted to kind of end on that like little. Yeah, I mean, Perry, honestly, like you might be onto something. I might have to figure that out, because yeah, I'm just kind of like over it, but yeah, so I will have to figure that out, and that's kind of what happened. So it's kind of in a random. Amazon sends it back to Netgear. Let Netgear deal with it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's something, yeah, because I like to get something that's equivalent to that, obviously. So I might be able to kind of cheat the system a bit, because I kind of feel kind of screwed out of a really good router. And again, I'm making do with this. But like you notice those little differences in the performance when you're used to a certain speed. And I pay for Comcast's like Xfinity, same fucking thing. Their top speed. So I don't want to be bottlenecked, and I don't want to be. And again, it's not really affecting me down here because I'm hardwired. But again, you have something, you want it to be good. Like I spend the money, so I just have it. And I'm gonna have to do that, Perry. That probably seems like the move. But yeah. So anyway, I am. Hopefully the bad luck stops with random shit like that. Because, yeah, your stuff doesn't even have to be on. Your computer, your TV, like, for those power surges to happen, or not even a surge, but just, like, for something to go wrong like that. Because it shook the house, you know what I mean? It was pretty significant. So, is a really weird storm. But, yeah, so, thank you guys for chatting. Thanks for all the super chats. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Perry. Thank you, RWK. Thank you, Thunders. Robert West. Perry again. K. Perry with the other super chat. Cam and May with the double super chat and being a member for 14 months. RWK with the 2. And Thunders Productions with the 5 gifted memberships. And if I can find the Linksys tri-band router, I got it for free from the other Frank. I'll give it to you for that for free. Well, I mean, it's whatever works. Like I know, like like I said, I have a couple weeks to, return this one. So I'll have to figure something out. I think I have a $70 Amazon gift card too. So that's something that I can also might be able to throw towards it that will cheapen the, soften the blow. But yes, thank you guys so much though. And I'll talk to you more about that, Perry, for sure. Yeah, but that's kind of been an update for me. and what happened over the weekend. And thank you guys for being patient on the live stream stuff and the content, because like I said, I'm just trying to pin down a day that we can record this RE4 show. And just look forward to more stuff. If you're a member, Patreon supporter, you can vote on the next live stream. Silent Hill 2 is winning up against Dead Space 2, Fatal Frame, and Cold Fear. So thank you so much. Don't forget to smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Dead Rising stuff, because it seems like we may get a Dead Rising reboot very shortly, or hopefully an announcement soon. So it's been great hanging out and chatting with you guys as always, and you'll be able to catch me tomorrow on Game Complainers at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's where I'll probably see you guys next. And I'll try to have some video content for you guys out on the weekend, or the week rather. So stay tuned for more content, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.